Today's going to be a very special show. We're going to take a look at some videos today of what we consider to be really great stuff. Now, the guys on the panel don't exactly know what we're going to watch yet, but it's a surprise. But we're going to start out by watching a routine by Tommy Wonder, and I think that when you guys see this, you're going to all really like it. So let me just get it queued up here. And yeah, super surprise. That's right. All right.
Super surprise.
All right, here we go.
Can't promise as we get into this. Can't promise if we don't know what's going to be. Can't really promise we're going to have good language. Can't promise we're going to know how we're going to react when we react. It's just too dang live.
It's true. It's true. Okay, here we go. I'm ready for it. Let's take a look.
I love it.
Let me see if I got, yes, here. I got another surprise for you people. It's a little surprise.
My watch isn't in there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
What's that?
It isn't on screen.
Okay, so I guess I did something wrong. You try that again.
That is what they're talking about, Todd, when they say a live experience. We could have blown the R rating just now in spontaneous reaction.
How about that? Can you see it now?
Yeah.
I can. Yes. Ooh, Tommy Wonder. He taught us dirty dust.
My watch isn't in there.
Yes.
Who knows? Okay. It's a little surprise for later. Just to keep the suspense. I think so. Okay. So now, would you please take one of these cards, but not a picture card?
I feel like I missed
Any other card is fine. I'm allowed to see as well, so you can just take.
I know it's a joke.
Okay. And I would like you to write your name on it as large as possible, so it's well clear and visible.
Did the volume stay loud?
Wonderful.
Everybody hear it?
Now you see something strange has happened. Because all the cards, they feel very normal. Like every other day, just a working day for these guys. Except the Four of Hearts. It now feels very important. It's logical, I've chosen a name on it. You can see, yeah, it's a birthday card, yeah. And you can see, because if you place this Four of Hearts into the deck, and you just do, hop, it goes through the other cards to the top. It is on top now.
Oh my God.
I went too fast.
Yeah,
I went too fast.
He went too fast.
I'll do it slower.
I blinked. Let me
You know, it's very simple. It's about the middle. Well, that's more on the bottom, I see, but that's not so important. The important thing is the movement. I'll do it slow. Hop.
I don't think so. Not this time.
No. It cannot be, huh?
No way.
And yet.
Hold that. Do you see how crisply he handles those cards? Like when he shows that card, he shows that card every single moment. It's boom and pop and down.
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Even into nothing, you know. Let's wait. I can't wait till he does something.
All right, here we go.
You know, I became a magician to find out how I do this. Anyway, I will show you one more time. Very slowly.
Okay. No.
You will get every chance. You will get every chance to see how it's not done. The Four of Hearts.
Yeah.
On the top. It's honest so far, right? Okay.
Yes, the first are good.
I'll pull up my sleeves so that nothing can happen.
Okay.
All right, now look. The middle, about the middle. There goes the card, right in there.
Right.
Now.
Much.
Yeah. No, it's really there. It's really there. I was just looking there. No, it's not on top yet. Not on top yet. No, if it is on top to begin with, that would be cheating. Anyway, here we go. Into the deck. Right there. Now,
Come on.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
He
They
got
don't
me with
trust
that.
me around there.
Got me with that feint,
No.
though.
Oh, no.
But I look honest, don't
That whole
I?
sequence right there is
Oh,
great.
okay. I'll do it this way.
You what? The whole what?
That
You
whole
should- you
sequence
should-
right there when
Yeah.
he's got the card out, then he puts it up in those fingers as he's shuffling the deck. And then as he comes back, I mean, he's doing it right there. It's just brilliant.
He's doing it,
Nonchalant.
but it's all designed to make you think he's doing a little something, and then of course he isn't. So remember,
Yes.
he turns it out. He does it so it's just enough that we think, oh, we caught it. The audience thinks,
Yeah.
something happened. And he goes, you didn't catch it. Nothing happened. Rewind that. Just take it back, just before the shuffle at him, so everyone can see it.
It's so
All right.
brilliant.
It's exactly what it looks like when you are not a spiritual hack.
Is it right here?
Maybe there, yeah.
That's plenty.
Now,
Come on.
no, it's okay. It's okay. They don't trust me around there.
No.
No.
Oh, no.
But I look honest, don't I?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll do it this way for you. Huh? It's better.
That's
fair.
better.
that's
That's
fair.
I mean, this way you can see that all cheating is absolutely honest. I mean, it's really in the deck. It's just clear.
Okay.
It's a great advantage when it's upside down. There's also one small problem when it's upside down.
What's that?
The whole trick doesn't work anymore. Because it has to show its face to come to the top like this. And it's a little shy. But if you cover the deck with the ace of clubs, hop, it rises to the top. But never hide in there, that's the problem.
Woo! Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But if you watch carefully, you can see how it works. Because if you watch carefully, you see you don't need to cover the deck with this card when it's like this and it's hop, it goes to the top like normal. But you knew, right? You knew, huh? Yeah. Well, oh, sometimes I meet people. Sometimes I meet people who think I cheat. Not you, not you. But other people. They think I put in another card. That it's already on the top. Or that I do it with my fingers very fast. When you're not looking or something. No, no, no. I'll do it here on the table. You can see I don't do anything with my fingers. I will only use my fingertips. 2 fingers, not more. Yeah, like this. Now, this way, there is no way for me to cheat and no fast movements. I'm not going too fast, am I?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
I'm
Okay, okay. Now, if you watch the side, you can see it happen. Look. Hop. Did you see it go to the top?
No.
Me neither. But it's there.
I want to call shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans. You know, he's so good at misdirection. He's so good at misdirection that the way they're flipping the camera around to make it so that everyone has the better view of the action without meaning to is a better indicator that he's doing a move than you would get if they just had it in a 2-shot. Like if you were to rewind that, you would see that we literally lost the actual method within the camera switching. Right? Did y'all notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Like they made it so we couldn't even see it.
They did.
I
All
wish
right.
we could run it back 20 seconds. I really do.
Okay, all right. Let me run it back 20 seconds. This is what happens when professional magicians watch other master magicians here. We have to analyze it in detail. All right, here we go. Let's see. All right,
Tommy
here we go.
Wonder taught me how to curse in Dutch.
Now that's a skill.
He taught me how to say Klautzak.
I don't know what that means.
I
But
don't
it
know what that
sounds
means
really
either.
Good.
Go ahead and use your imagination.
No, okay.
I'm
Okay, okay. Now, if you watch the side, you can see it happen. Look.
Go back a little bit further, Adam.
Did you see it fast, am I?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
I'm
Okay, okay. Now, if you watch the side, you can see
Little
it
bit more?
happen. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it here on the table. You can see I don't do anything with my fingers. I will only use my fingertips. 2 fingers, not more.
There it was.
Yeah, like this. Now, this way, there is no way for me to cheat and no fast movements. I'm not going too fast, am I?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
I'm
Okay, okay. Now, if you watch the side, you can see it happen.
Love that
Look.
guy in the front row.
Hop. Did you see it go to the top?
No.
Me neither. But it's there.
Closet Adam.
I think so.
Closet Adam.
Yeah.
There was a convention I went to in LA. It was one of the big, I think it was the IBM convention, and L&L brought that guy down there to sign autographs and take pictures with magicians at the convention.
That is great.
The guy in the audience?
That black
Yeah.
guy in the audience, they brought him down. They flew him down, and everyone took pictures and posed with them. It was amazing, man.
There's a couple of famous ones. There's a guy named David. Is that David or
That's
is it
David.
the other?
Yeah,
That's David.
people are saying
Who's
that.
the other guy with the
For
mustache?
all the people watching, these guys were at every shoot that this entire company did. So you would always see them in the front row. They would always be screaming and laughing too much. And when you're a young magician, you're trying to watch this tape for all you could do. Those guys were so distracted, you know. But I guess some
Well,
people.
they're nice guys. I've hung out with all of them up there because I'm in Northern California, so I'm like a couple hours away from there, and I've been to a couple of those. In fact, that's where this comes from. This picture is me out on the patio with Tommy that very day.
Wow. That's cool.
Really? The day they shot this?
Yeah, it was that's him out on the patio having a smoke, and I was going out and being magic guy and trying to get time with the guy. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, you guys can't see it. Hang on. Let me highlight it, Alex. Let me am I the let's see.
Yeah.
Start your
Okay.
video for a second.
There you go.
There.
I'm seeing it.
You saw it.
Okay. Well, let me
Now turn your video off. Show us one more time. Yeah, that picture, right.
Yeah, that's up in Tahoe. That's out on the patio at Lou's studio, Louis Falanga's studio that he had up there. And I went to a bunch of them up there, but that was definitely like a life-changing day. And the joke that's happening at the beginning of that, I don't know if you guys have seen these DVDs, but in the DVDs, he demos all of the vanishing watches inside the box, right? That are inside the book. And that's what that joke is at the beginning. He says, no, there might be a watch inside that box, because he had just done all of them. And the way they did it was he couldn't vanish a watch 5 times and have it appear in a box 5 times. So he vanished a watch once, did one of the most impressive reproductions inside of a nest of boxes, and then he just started doing them all. But never just vanished the watch that one time, and then the watch would just appear in all these weird places, and everyone's freaking out. And it was for the camera, so that us as magicians, we could see all these things in action. So that's what that intro joke was. So sorry to take it off track a little bit, but that's
Adam, did you find the right spot? I just want to say hi to Glenn Goldbeck, a great magician from Los Angeles. Just great. Glad that you're here, Glenn. I feel like it's been over a decade since I've seen you, so it's an absolute pleasure even to see your name. Just making sure Adam's got this cued back so that we can carry forward with this. Awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna run it back just a little bit. Sorry,
welcome,
go ahead.
Glenn. Welcome.
No, Tommy Wonder, in addition to teaching me how to say Krautsack, also told me that he really hated performing, and that he performed because it was the only way he could get away with being a magician for a career. He loved, I think a lot of magicians know how that feels. Loved playing with the magic, loved building the magic, loved working on it 24/7. But if you don't show your work, sometimes no one's really going to even believe it's your job. So he had to do what he had to do. Ready, Adam?
You know, huh? Yeah. Oh, sometimes I meet people. Sometimes I meet people who think I cheat. Not you, not you. But other people. They think I put in another card. That it's already on the top. Or that I do it with my fingers very fast when you're not looking or something. No. I'll do it here on the table. You can see I don't do anything with my fingers. I will only use my fingertips. 2 fingers, not more. Yeah, like this. Now, this way, there is no way for me to cheat and no fast movements. I'm not going too fast, am I?
Oh, no.
No, okay. Okay. Now, if you watch this side, you can see it happen. Look. Hop. Did you see it go to the top?
No.
Me neither. But it's there.
All right, this is where we left off right here, right?
Actually. Because you like the trick so much, I will explain it. In reality, of course, the card.
Hey, can we stop for a second?
It's imagination.
Are we going to get into methods and stuff here?
Well, let him do the trick first.
Okay, let's do that.
Also, it doesn't go into the deck. It has never been there. Everything you saw is imagination. Because it's my lucky card. I never keep it there. I always keep it separate.
Oh my God.
Folded. Here. In this little box.
Oh my God.
But what I don't understand is how you managed to put on my card in the box your name. You must tell me because I don't know how you.
Now you go ahead. All right. Now, Steve, was I wrong? Was I wrong at that moment to let it?
No. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But I was just saying the misdirection on the fold right there of leaving some on the table and coming back is just brilliant. It's just one of those mind erasing moments, where you put something in, something like that, and all people can think about is that. That, he left a few, and it's just such a common thought, and it's a perfect cover. It's just brilliant.
And I wonder, put a 1 in chat if you noticed that, because it's one of the most beautiful things in the world when you're doing a card trick, is just leaving some cards on the table at any old time gives you a reason to go get them back. You can cover virtually anything you need to do with that, right?
Yeah.
You make any pass invisible, and of course, in this case, a Mercury card fold. Which incidentally, our recent guest lecturer, Larry Wilmore, was talking about the fact that he always found that the Mercury card fold was a sweaty move, right? And it is. It takes a few moments, and you could really see that Tommy Wonder managed to give himself more than enough time to do it without anyone noticing. Really something.
Well, and there's something else about that fold too. Tommy's is one more fold beyond.
The 6-way.
Yeah, he's got that 6-way fold. So it's like, it is the Mercury fold. So it's the fold on itself like that. And then you're taking the card like this and doing one last fold like that underneath, and then pushing everything solid so that he gets that 6-way fold. And it's really, that's very deceptive when you have it folded up that much and it's in that little tiny box. It's just a beautiful thing, man. He's as good as they get.
Alex, can you walk everyone through the one that's based on, the one in Expert Card Technique, which is also not. No, it's not the Mercury. It's based on the 6-way in Expert.
Oh, when you palm it. Yeah.
You can just walk through it for everybody.
Mm-hmm. You palm it, and you fold it in, and then you fold it down on itself like that, and then that gives you 6.
So this is the brilliance of what Tommy Wonder did, is he actually put that level of folding within a Mercury card fold handling.
That's right. And it's all under the deck. It's using the deck to make that last fold happen, which is pretty masterful, I think. It's all just really, he's as good as they get, man. He's the best.
Like on every level too, not just the technique, but the actual structure is like, it's hard. Listen, when you're starting out in Magic, it's hard to watch this and realize what's going on all these levels, right? So he's got the technique is masterful, the structure is masterful, and then he's got the presentation and the persona built on top of that. I don't, who else has got this kind of like, whoever had this kind of thing? I mean,
and that's before you take into account the fact that his machine shop in the basement could do what, it's everything is so amazing that doesn't even come up first, right? That box. I mean, how many times have we all seen that method for card to box, right? Or variation of that method. Can you not tell me that having that smaller box and that smaller card doesn't make it more impossible?
Oh, and he has another thing that's going on. The hinge on that box, it's a piano hinge, so it's a really soft hinge. So you can flop that thing back and forth and the lid will flop open and close like a little Pac-Man. So he has that card folded and he puts the box down and the lid flaps open a little bit and it grabs that card so that it looks like it's falling out of the box at the last minute.
It really did look like
Yeah.
it was, yeah, that was like the most perfect illusion ever. I loved that.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is there more is there more after this part? Is there more to this?
Not of that routine.
Oh, because it says it has one Oh, it says 40 seconds left, so I didn't know if there was more to the end of it.
He might just have some finishing comments, you know, just like
That's
look how
literally Mike responding more.
Oh,
Well,
I got you. Okay.
harder.
All right. Cool. Well,
Doing
that
my
was
own of it.
that was the first thing I wanted you guys to see. I know a few of you guys have seen that routine before, but it's been a while, right? You
That
probably
was
haven't watched
awesome.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
I'm still not entirely sure how after he did the outjogged card thing, you know, still not entirely sure how it got to the top of the other half. I think he might have shifted
it's
the
that
packet.
Lorraine. It's the Lorraine thing, right? It was in Lorraine's ambitious card routine. He's just doing it from the back, I think, but Tommy Wonder's doing it from the front. So he's got the double. He puts in the center like this, and he's doing this move, right? Saying, no, it's still there. It's still there. Then he does this, pushes it in, and then puts this one packet on top of everything, and then squares everything up. And then the card is, you know, back on top.
He did it so swiftly and at the same moment as so that it acted not like a visible cut, but like a shift. Because it's psychologically, you could watch it over and over and over again and not feel like he's shifting the packets at that time. This is an interesting question from Glenn Goldbeck. What are your thoughts on, say, Regal's Clarity Box? So there have been, you know, I'm forgetting off the top of my head. I keep thinking Caps, but Caps might be the ribbon. Who is the core idea of the box?
Kennedy?
No, just the box and the shuttle pass ending.
Henning maybe, or Hennig. He's like a German guy or something. But he was the first one that had the box that had the thread in the bottom that held the card behind, so that you could do the dump, the fake dump.
Okay, so I thought the ribbon was Fred Caps or something, but that's been
Fred Caps was who popularized it, but it was this guy's trick, and then Fred did it on TV, and then it became a thing.
Okay, so now in the modern era, since Kennedy,
Hennig. That's it. Nice work, Christoph.
There have been so many handlings of this which allow you to have an empty box first, right? We saw one the other night that's no longer available that Kohler had out for several $100 to lease. Kennedy's, of course, is the sort of modern version that they're all based on, because you can show the box is empty and then, you know, a little something happens, you open it up and you can see a card, then you dump, and then, of course, it's not in there anymore. And they all have a mechanism which does that. Now, David Regal, a couple years ago, put out something called Clarity Box, where the box is crystal clear throughout the whole thing, and then you do it. Now, just a little bit of a disclaimer before we share our thoughts on this, because I think we all may have different thoughts on this, and this is one of these things where we really have not compared our thoughts on this, and we're going to try and give it to you straight. Just want to say in advance, we think David Regal is a genius. He's a dear friend of ours, a dear friend of CC's. He did a epic living room lecture for us, which is 12 members you can find in the back room right now. And so he always has really great ideas. So I think we can say ahead of time that the Clarity Box is a great idea. But now you're asking, Glenn, how do we feel personally about these boxes? Would we personally go for a clear box? Is that more or less the nature of it? Let me just throw Adam on the spot. Adam, how about you? Unmute yourself, buddy.
Well, to be clear, I like Regal's Clarity Box myself. I actually like it. I believe it is, but this is the key thing. It's a different effect. I mean, it has a different effect on the audience than what we just saw Tommy Wonder do, right? Because with the Clarity Box, just so you understand, and I'm not going to talk about the method, I'm just talking about the effect. With the Clarity Box, the card is in the box. The signed card is folded and in the box the entire show, sitting there on the table. So you get to the end of the ambitious card routine. Now you turn to the box, you take it off, and you very clearly dump it out of the box. They unfold it. It's their signed card. And that's different. It has a different impact on it. And clearly with Tommy Wonder's version, there's a mystery as to what's in there to begin with, what he says is in there versus what you think. So the surprise is different. This is baffling. I've seen when Regal does it. I mean, it is baffling. Like you unless you know the method, it is a baffling trick. You cannot figure it out. But it's just different. It just feels different,
There's
right?
no doubt that the Regal box can be seen on stage, and that's something that Jim Steinmeier has been. Every time I've conversed with him over the years about magic, he has got a real pet peeve, justifiably so. Fellow's one of the greatest geniuses of the last century, smartest magician since Okido. That close-up magicians have a real hard time with the idea that audiences, when they're watching magic on stage, they need to see something. So we are often taking pride in the fact that we can make, as he would say, a postage stamp play to a large room. But actually, we're only hurting ourselves when it helps the audience to be able to see a little something. So that's one aspect of it, which is aesthetically maybe very important. If you're performing for a larger group of people and you want to make that thing visible, that would matter, right? It would matter a lot. And I think the other thing you're getting at, Adam, is that it's not accurate to compare every single option as if one thing is stronger or the other one is stronger. Stronger is one way to compare things, but also different means it has a different taste, a different flavor, a different feeling. And it's hard at a certain point to describe those feelings, right? Because they're just, they end up translating as emotions that the audience feels. And they're a little too delicate for you to just say, that one's better, stronger, harder. It doesn't make sense. Yes, Al.
There is a difference because I've played with all these boxes. I own almost all of the boxes. I have the Lightning box. I have the Kennedy box. I have the clear box from Regal. The thing is that those other boxes, aside from the Regal box, they're great for close-up. They're great when people are right here, but that clear box is great for what you were talking about earlier, for setting up a situation that's coming in the future. And I use this on stage. It's the only time I ever use the clear one is on stage. I don't think close-up it serves the prop. I don't think it does it justice. But when you're doing it on stage, it's a thing that's sitting there. And for me, it was a thing that was at the very end of the show. So it's building anticipation. It's sitting there the whole time. There's a folded up card. It says open the glass in case of emergency. And it's a mysterious thing that's sitting there that's setting up interest and letting their minds run wild the entire time that you're doing magic. And those other boxes don't do that. So I think for that there's some built-in mojo in the thing. The other ones, they're just a mystery box. There's a box, you might like that Lightning box. It's cool because you can have other stuff in it. And it's just a receptacle you're carrying, and then eventually something goes in there. And that's more akin to like a card in the wallet, rather than it being this situation that's set up that it could be going there. Or what's that card in there for? There's going to be something that has to do with that card. I don't know what. And I don't know in that situation that ambitious card is the best thing for that box either. I did not use it for ambitious card. So there it is.
At the end of the day, I mean, we could get off into the weeds here, but I think a legitimate argument can be made when that ending happens to an ambitious card. It's really just a transition to a different song. So you've got the end of the ambitious card, and then you've got this transition into what is a card at impossible location. But to actually say that it's the last phase of the ambitious card, some people would say that's a semantic point, but I think it's really important. Because in most cases, we are leveraging the ambitious card infrastructure to do an entirely different card to impossible location effect. In Tommy's trick, that box was there the whole time, but it was very easy not to give any thought to. It vanished psychologically right up until you brought us back there. Now you're saying when we watch David Regal's box, it's never really out of our mind. And in every trick, we're thinking when we see a card, is that involved? Is this the thing? Is now the time? Is this the moment? And so it adds a whole different undercurrent and a through line to the show, which is great if your show needs a through line.
Yeah.
Right?
But if you're thinking about it like that, it's probably wise to stop looking at that Regal box as just a card revelation too. I would go more towards it. Like that's the next step for me is having it be a piece of paper. So it's something that's written down in there rather than a playing card. You know what I mean? Because that's one of the great things about Regal's box is that it's pretty versatile too. You can have that.
Oh, so you're saying it's a prediction. It's ideal.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best thing to do with that.
Yeah, because you can have money. I mean, you could have a folded dollar bill in here, a folded piece of paper. In fact, when you get this, it comes with a lot of different ideas. Regal fully thought all of that out.
It's
So-
one of the best card in boxes that there is. That's the bottom line.
I'm going to say Glenn. I'm not sure Glenn Goldbeck got the exact answer he wants, but I'll tell you, if I was doing a show, I would love to do the card at the impossible box and then use that thing as a prediction, because then it's not paradoxical at all,
That's right.
right? It's merely there. Now,
It's
you
just an
name-
acrylic box that's protecting something for later.
Yeah, but it's like confabulation, right? Now you
Yeah.
name, how many drinks you want to have. Now you name your favorite cocktail. Now you name your favorite bartender, and now you name your mother's maiden name.
I think you just hit the home run. That's what it is. It wants to be confabulation inside that box. That's great. That's
Yeah.
smart, Aaron.
Which is great because now your little close-up guy can actually carry both boxes to the show and still not have a bigger act and still have it play huge. And confabulation is one of those tricks that plays huge, even though it fits into the size of that below box.
Well, I'm glad you guys liked that clip. I actually, so for the next clip, I also picked another Tommy Wonder trick, okay? Because there's one trick that he does that I think is just, it's a card trick, but I think it just like blows almost everything else out of the water. I can't wait for you guys to watch it. Get your reactions to this. So let's watch it right now. This is Tommy Wonder's Tamed Card.
Oh, this is great.
Yeah, that was just a little thing I learned from my mother. And, sorry, it's,
Time to go?
no, it's time for my hobby. You don't mind I do my hobby now, continue the magic later? Okay. Just make it. Janelle, I would like you to point to a card when I say so. Not before, not after. It's a couple more seconds. I'll tell you when. Point to a card now. Exactly. Thank you. That's good. No, I mean, really, perfectly on time. No, exactly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's, no, maybe I explain, it's my hobby. I collect playing cards, which are chosen exactly at this time, so I had to put this in the show. No, it's true. I have quite a collection. These cards are chosen by different...
Like, I totally thought he just did something right there, but he didn't. Like, I thought he did, but he didn't.
Different people, different places in the world, and you notice it's always the 4 of clubs. Always at this time. Yeah, it's always I don't know why people always choose 4 of clubs, but I think there is some scientific reason for it. I don't know, but anyway, it's not so important.
It's her birthday.
That thing could very well be, yeah.
She wanted a prince.
Yeah. But birthday or not, it's the wrong card. No, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, not even remotely does it look like it. I mean, it's totally different. Okay, the back is fine, but... I don't know. Do you mind if I change your card to a 4 of clubs? I can put it in a collection. Okay.
Oh, here it comes.
Okay. It's very simple to change a card because you just put another 4 of clubs on top and you rub. If you watch carefully, it starts to imitate the 4 of clubs and it becomes what? It becomes a 4. Now you see, normally they do change.
Dude, so much power out of that one little tiny effect. Like, so much power out of that one little phase.
Creating some.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'll do it differently. I'll just change the collection. Mind you, it's a lot more work for me. But you see, you got a Jack of Diamonds, so I make Jack of Diamonds. You know? Now, have a look at the cards. Is there anything wrong with them? No double layers, special things, or anything? No.
4 clubs anymore.
No, that's true. Because if you change, you know, it's not heat either. It just changed. Now look here. Rub the card. Does anything go off? Nothing goes off. No. But you rub like this, it changed. Oh, look. No, wait. The last one. Look, it's really.
That's crazy.
This is amazing, huh? Yeah. This is always a designer.
That is.
You know, there's something out there I highly encourage everybody to go look for. I don't know if it's easy to find. Maybe you could find it, Adam. There's a clip of Tommy doing that on Dutch television in Dutch. And the guy is harassing him. Like, the guy is giving him a bad time. The host of the show is like trying to bust him on the magic. And it's just a great lesson in seeing a professional like work with a person like that and still get to the end and have that same reaction that he just did there, even though the guy was like basically heckling him the entire performance. You know, it's really amazing. It's totally worth your time. Very cool trick though. I think that's the best handling of wild card that there is. I don't think there's anything that's even a close second.
Yeah, I mean, I guess give us a 1 in chat, please, if you are not familiar with wild card as a plot. Okay. Right.
A few.
So Steve, how would you describe the plot, the traditional plot, as succinctly as possible?
Well, I mean, it's basically what you just saw. You start out with one particular card, could be anything, and then everything changes over. But it's usually done on the table. It's usually like a tabled kind of thing, and he makes it into in the hands, which I think is really fantastic.
And he makes it cleaner, right? I mean,
yeah, it's way cleaner. Yeah, his handling is way cleaner than what you would originally get. But you know, the thing, I mean, that's a good point. The thing that gets me is, like, you look at a guy like a Tommy Wonder, and he is just like a genius artist. And I don't know what words I'm trying to use, but it's like general people don't think of a Tommy Wonder when they think of a magician, and they should, because he's the guy that is like on this whole nother level above, you know, anything else you would normally see. You know, he's just on a whole nother level and just a genius. And it's sad that we lost him, you know, because really he's written great books and he's spent time with people, but really that magic, that special Tommy Wonder spice is gone, you know.
Something you notice too, Steve, like where that he has this handling too that feels so. It feels so loose, like, anyone who doesn't know this, who's watching this video, every little move, every little gesture is planned out.
Yeah.
But he makes it look like so sloppy, and you just do this here and look what happens. I mean, it's just it feels so free, and there's something about that is super magical.
I think there's something to be learned from that, because that is exactly true. It all is planned out, but it still seems like it's just coming off the top of his head. Like it's just happening in this moment right now.
Everything is motivated. Everything has a reason for happening.
Well, have you ever noticed, right? He has an interesting twist on it. He's surprised that it happened, but he's not surprised because he didn't know that it was going to happen. He's more surprised that it happened again. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it builds each time. Yeah.
It's so above just like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. It's like, I know I can do it. I'm just surprised it's still happening.
A lot of magicians would take that effect and they would say, all right, in this trick, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this card here into this card. Now watch. And then they would do something and the two cards would be the same. But that's not how Tommy phrases this at all. Tommy talks about he's got this collection. He gets there's a story. He's wrong. It's got the magician in trouble plot. The audience really gets pulled into that. They're really fascinated by it. He has an off the cuff solution to the issue. Here, I'll fix it this way. I'll change the collection.
Yeah.
It has to do with why. Why should I care, right? In a regular trick like that, watch how cool I am. I can make this change happen. And that, he's solving a problem that has come up for a thing that he just set up. And there's a reason for everyone to care, because he's frustrated. He was trying to do this card collecting thing and it went completely backwards from what he thought, and everyone's with him, and they're like, how's he going to get out of this? We finally saw the magician fail. We were here for it. And they're on that ride, and he takes them right along the whole way, because they're now, they know what the why is. His why is, well, I have to make it right for me. And now all the impossibility is happening, and there's a reason for them to care. And if a magician's just going, here's a card, watch, and there it changes, I'm great. Who cares?
Yeah. Tommy's never smug.
Right.
You know, he's never. So Glenn said, do you think the average layman would realize what a genius he is? And I think the average layman hasn't been exposed to genius like that, you know? And I don't mean necessarily seeing it on TV. I mean being one of 10 or 15 people in a great magician like Tommy Wonder's presence,
You have to see
in that moment, to share that. That's when magic happens, in that moment right there, you know? And I think that's the sad part about it is, you know, like, we're all big music fans. We'll go anywhere to see a band that we love, you know, but, you know, we're also in the few that would go anywhere to see a magician that we love. And I don't think that's out in the world, you know.
Steve, I think I think it's totally possible that if you were to, you know, litter enough dirty coasters around Tommy Wonder and play a DJ loud enough over him and still have him take the money and do the gig, it's possible you might miss it. But I think there's such a level of detail, certainly not all of it, but there's such a level of detail in everything he does that I think people can perceive in the same way you can perceive a meal has had a great deal of choices made in it and a great deal of effort put into it. There's just a certain level of detail and texture to it, which they, you know, they get the impression that this guy is really not your average guy. You know what I mean? And I think that just very clearly in the way he handles things and the way he reacts to things, there's something that feels so unique about it that I think, or at least I hope, that audiences do have ways that they can perceive that, even if it's not the aspects of it that we consider to be the most important normally.
You know what you say on top of that, on top of what you just said, is that it's beyond the magic. He seems like somebody beyond the magic who is just an amazing person you would want to meet, you know? And I think that adds to his mystique, you know?